Good morning, guys. Happy Monday. Welcome to today's lesson, May 4th, long division day 2. This lesson is really all review. All right, you can see our do now here. We have subtraction and multiplication, and the rest of the problems are all dealing with long division, which we talked about on Friday. So if you'd like at any point, please pause the video, try it on your own, and then you can see how you did. But let's get started with subtraction. Remember, we have subtracting a full trinomial here. Alright, because it's subtracting and then parentheses. Remember, we treat it like that's a -1 in front, and we're distributing to all the terms inside the parentheses. What that means is all the signs are just going to change. So if it's negative, change it to positive. If it's positive, change it to negative. Technically, there's a +1 in front of the first set, so you would copy that exactly as is. It would be like multiplying it by +1. It doesn't change anything. However, in the next set of parentheses, -6x squared becomes +6x squared. Positive 3x becomes -3x. And -2 becomes +2. Now it's just a game of combining your like terms. So 4x squared and 6x squared are like terms. -5 and 2 are like terms. And -3x does not have any like terms. If you combine now 4x squared and 6x squared, that's 10x squared. Then I'm going to write the x term, because just to keep it in standard form, you write the x squared term, then the x's, and then the constants. Your constants go last, so -5 now plus 2 is -3. And if you don't know that, that's fine. Type it in your calculator. -5 plus 2, -3. So subtracting, if you ever see that, just think about you might have to distribute. So there is some multiplication involved, but the main idea here is combining your like terms. Remember, like terms have the same variable and the same exponent. Now multiplication, we have a trinomial times a binomial. And remember, we use the box method to multiply. We have x squared minus 3x minus 1 and 4x plus 1. So 4x times x squared is 4x to the third power. I'd like to show you about these invisible ones, right? The coefficient there is 1, so 1 times 4 is 4. And the exponent here is also 1. Right? The exponent here is 1. But at the end of the day, where's that x to the third come from? It's because you're adding the exponents. 2 plus 1 is 3. Next, x squared times 1 is just x squared. Alright, now the -3x times 4x is -12x to the second power. X times x is x squared. Now -3x times 1, just itself, -3x. -1 times 4x, -4x. And -1 times 1 is -1. Like terms now. Again, a lot of it multiply like terms. Remember, you combine your terms that have x squared. Combine your terms that have x. Kind of a lot going on here. I think it'd be very helpful to write this out. 4x cubed plus x squared minus 12x squared minus 3x minus 4x minus 1. These were your x squared terms. These are your x terms. So we get 4x cubed. Now x squared minus 12x squared, that's essentially saying 1x squared minus 12x squared. So 1 minus 12 is -11, and you keep the x squared. -3x minus 4x, so -3 minus 4 if you don't know it. Once again, type it in your calculator. That'd be -7x, and you have minus 1 at the end there. So similar type of problem, guys. Combining like terms is really going to be part of everything. So be careful. the signs, positives, negatives, all that. Alright, so now division. These are your long division steps from Friday. So if you didn't watch Friday's video for whatever reason, not good, but if you didn't, you should really be going back to Friday's video so you can understand that, because we're going to be moving a little bit quicker than normal. So first, divide the first terms. Put the quotient up top. Then you're going to multiply, which was distributing. We're going to subtract. First terms are always going to cancel. And then we repeat the process until the terms cannot be divided. So if you remember the three letters you have to remember, DMS. Divide, multiply, subtract. So set up your division house. What you're dividing by goes on the outside. The other goes on the inside. So divide. Alright, what's my step? Divide. Divide the first terms. The first terms are m squared and m. Right, the first term of this polynomial, the first term of that polynomial. So you divide. M squared divided by m is just m. That's exponent of 1. Remember with division, you're subtracting your exponents, so 2 minus 1 is 1. It's just m to the first power, which will just get written as m. Now, multiply. Remember, when you multiply, whatever you just got, you throw it up top, and you end up multiplying it by everything on the outside now. So this would be m times m, which is m squared, and then m times negative 8, which is negative 8m. S, now subtraction. Subtraction means you're just changing the signs, just like we did with this do now question. We changed all the signs. We'll be doing that same thing here. So you're going to be subtracting m squared and then adding 8m. Change the signs, whatever it is, which is going to make those first terms cancel, like it says in your steps. So all that you're left with is the m term. So negative 7m plus 8m is just m. Negative 7 plus 8 is 1m. Now, I think we're okay up to this point, guys, and I've seen students really, really struggle with this topic, and then once it clicks, it just clicks, and then they end up loving this topic. I'm not kidding. Alright? I think this is where students get slipped up. So you divide your first terms, you multiply, and you end up subtracting, and then it's like, alright, where am I supposed to go from here? Whatever you just got, that result there of m, now you take that and you're going to end up dividing that by something. What is that something? It's still by the first term out here, the m over there. Now they happen to be the exact same value, m and m. That's not always going to happen. As a matter of fact, it's usually not going to happen. But it ends up being whatever you just got, after you subtracted m, and you divide that by that term on the outside, m, it's always going to be divided by that value here. Alright, divided by m, divided by m. Alright? But once you do that, m divided by m, that's just 1. So that was the division, DMS, right? Divide. That's your division. Alright? After you divide, remember you put that value up top. So m divided by m is 1. So now it's plus 1. Now m, multiply. Multiply. So this 1 times it here, times it there. Alright, you distribute it, multiply it by everything. So now it's 1 times m, which is m. 1 times negative 8, which is negative 8. Alright, and you see we have to bring down that negative 11, but that's good news because that's the last thing to bring down. We're basically almost done. Just keep in mind this is a negative 11 here brought down. Okay, now change your signs. This is now negative m and positive 8. Those first terms cancel, m minus m, and what you're left with is negative 11 plus 8. which is negative 3. So now there's a remainder. A lot of times that could end up just being 0, and you'd be done. But we are done. We just have to do one extra step here. Subtract 3. All right, negative 3 is really the remainder. Here's how you write it. You write it up top, so it's minus 3. And then what do I put that over? You remember from Friday's lesson that 3 would go over what? It goes over the divisor, the whole value over here. All right, m minus 8. So your final answer is m plus 1 minus 3 over that m minus 8. Now this one was a little bit easier than the ones we worked with on Friday because this we started with an m squared term. A lot of times you're going to have to deal with an m cubed term, so it's just going to be a little bit longer of a process, but really the same steps. So something kind of like here. So let's try it out. V plus 3 goes outside, and v cubed minus 2v squared minus 14v minus 5 goes on the inside. So first step, divide. First terms, v cubed divided by v. Guys, every single time on the right here in blue, I'm going to be dividing by v. It starts with v cubed divided by v, and then whatever the result is somewhere around here, okay, that's what we're going to end up dividing by v next. So v cubed divided by v is v squared. So you get v squared. After you divide, you throw that up top. Now you multiply. V squared times v is v cubed. V squared times 3 is 3v squared. So that was the multiplication step. Now our next step is subtraction. That means we change the signs. So this is now minus v cubed, and this positive here is no longer. We're changing that to a negative. So the first terms cancel. And what you're left with is this right here. Negative 2v squared minus, not plus 3v squared, minus 3v squared. So negative 2 minus 3 is negative 5. And we have v squared with that. Careful with your signs. If you're not sure, type it in your calculator. Alright, next we have that, what we just got, the leftover, that's now what we're going to be dividing by. Negative 5v squared, and you divide that by v. Every single time it will be divided by v, or x, or whatever. Alright, so next, what would that equal to? Negative 5v squared divided by v ends up being negative 5v. After you divide, you throw that up top, so it's negative 5v up top. And now that value is what you end up multiplying. So negative 5v times v is negative 5v squared. And negative 5, notice how I'm not saying 5v, it's negative 5v, so treat it like a negative. I know it's subtraction, but negative and subtraction are the same thing. So it's negative 5v times 3 now, which is negative 15v. Now the next step is subtraction. Change your signs. That's positive, and notice how that makes that first term, the first terms cancel out, which we need. So now we're left with 15v over here. Remember, we have to bring down something for that 15v, which is negative 14v. So what's negative 14v plus 15v? That's just 1v. You can write 1 in front, but you don't have to. It ends up being v. Okay, next that's what we got, so now it's v divided by v, which is equal to 1. Throw that up top, plus 1. Multiply that 1 by v. 1 times v is v. 1 times 3 is 3. Subtraction, change your signs. This is now minus, and this is also minus. And you have to bring down that -5, which is good news. We're almost done. -5 gets brought down. V minus v, that's gone. And we're left with, we have -5 now, minus 3, which is -8. So write that up top. There's nothing left. There's nothing left to divide or anything. It's now minus 8 over v plus 3. Alright, one more. Now guys, if you haven't paused the video at any point and tried something on your own, now is definitely the time. Alright, it might make a little bit of sense as you see me go through it. Alright, but it really needs to be practiced independently, and then you could try that out. And then at any point you get stuck, you just watch the video, see what happens. Alright, but it would be x minus 7 on the outside, and then we have x cubed minus 13x squared plus 40x plus 18. Alright, divide. X cubed, first terms, divided by x. That's x squared. So you throw that x squared up top. Now x squared times everything. X squared times x is x cubed. X squared times -7 is -7 x squared. Subtract now. Change your signs. Negative and now positive. First terms cancel. And we're left with -13x squared plus 7x squared, which is what? -13 plus 7? -6x squared. Now we're done. DMS. We divided, we multiplied, we subtracted, started over. Now we divide. Whatever we just got, -6x squared divided by x, which is just -6x. You divided, throw that up top now. -6x. Now we multiply. -6x times x is -6x squared. And -6x times -7 is positive 42x. Right? Negative times negative is a positive. 7 times 6 is 42. Alright, now subtract. Change the signs. This is now positive, and this is now negative. And we have to bring down the 40x. First terms cancel. We're left with 40x minus 42x, which is -2x. That was our subtraction. Start it over. Divide. -2x divided by x is -2. After you divide, throw that up top. So -2. Now we multiply. -2 times x is -2x. -2 times -7 is positive 14. Subtract. This is now positive 2x change this to negative 14. First terms cancel. Bring down the 18 now. Now guys, this is essentially where we can say, all right, we're about to be finished. Why? Because we can't bring down anything left. We bring down the last term, the 18 in that expression, and then you're going to be done after that. Okay, so if you're confused about when are we supposed to stop, all right, once you can't bring anything down anymore, you're done. All right, but just watch how we actually technically finish this. All right, but it would be 18 now. You bring down the 18. Now it's 18 minus 14, which is 4. So 4 is kind of acting as your remainder. All right, so remember how we write that. It's positive, so you just write plus 4 and throw that over the whole divisor, the value on the expression on the outside, which is x minus 7. So maybe go back, try one or two of these out on your own, and see if you get the same answer. But just remember DMS, divide, multiply, subtract. I also am going to have you doing a lot of these operations with polynomials in your Delta Math this week. Okay, so I'm going to post that today. I'll message you in Remind when I do that. Make sure you ask questions in Remind. And that is really it. Have a wonderful rest of your day, and I'll see you mañana.